Brainy Scout presents Career Talks.
Hi guys, today we have a Pam. Um, she has a tons of experience in IT, and we want to know her insights, she go into the IT, and right now she is working as a application support manager. First of all, thank you.
Hello.
Hi. First of all, thank you like joining this podcast, and we want to be just get the idea. A lot of people are right now working in a different industry and they want to go into the IT field. How you started your journey into IT? Can you give just a little background about that?
First of all, thank you for inviting me for this podcast. You have asked me a very interesting question. This reminds me of the challenge that I went through when I came to Canada to get into IT. Um, I'll just let you know it was not, first of all, it wasn't easy to get into IT. I started my first position as a QA analyst. Around 15 years ago. And I worked into the industry itself, the same industry itself for more than 13 years. And then eventually I got into application support manager role, where I am into payment industry and got lucky enough to be application support manager. But just to let you know, it's not easy. It's challenging, but I'm enjoying this role.
All right, yeah, that's interesting. Um, right now, a lot of immigrants are coming, right? So even like here, the students they are doing some courses, right? And they want to go into IT or somebody who has experience. So they want to go into IT, and even they have experience as well, right? So they don't know like how they can get the interview calls or they can start a career into IT. So what's it like? What's your thought on or tips or tricks like you can provide us like they need to be follow so that they can get a job easily.
Um, the very first thing I would say is to be very patient and consistent. Consistency is the key. As we all know, it's not very easy to get into any kind of expertise area these days. If The thing is, if someone wants to get into IT or in any profession, the vision needs to be clear where they want to be, right? So, in order to do that, they need to stick to a plan. They will have a lot of um, unsuccessful sequence of events, but they'll have to ensure they stick to consistency. Yes, it's not easy to get into the market, but they need to follow certain uh, areas where they have to ensure that, for an example, if they are seeing a job description, their resume matches that job description. There are certain keywords that you see in the job description, right? And they have to be aware of certain tools. That's not these days. The job trends, market trends are changed. Nobody looks for an expert, but they look for a great team player as well as somebody who's willing to learn. If I would say, if you have the basic skills, but just stick to the plan and stick to and make sure you know where you want to be, even though you have failures. Make sure you are kind of not getting discouraged, and sticking to where you want to be. Retry and make sure your resume is up to date. You're getting relevant help from the experts, where they can guide you in terms of your resume, in terms of some interview skills. That's the way to go.
All right, yeah, no, that's a great tips. A lot of people like they are talking, they don't have a experience, Canadian experience, right? Especially over here. So, what advice you gonna give, right? So, is there still a chance they can get a job even they don't have a Canadian experience? What's your thought?
Um, I would say I'm a firm believer that nothing is impossible. It's not kind of philosophy I'm using, but if you are confident of your skills, even though you don't have Canadian experience, no one comes with an experience when you come to Canada, and we have lots of immigrants in Canada, right? And no one, when they come, everyone is new, right? And somehow it's hard to get into the industry. But I would say, to begin with, the key is you have to show that kind of confidence, as well as you have to prepare yourself to be a great team player. You have to show your analytical skills. The tools and other things you can always learn, right? And you have to show this curiosity that you're willing to learn, even though you're a starter, and be an asset to the company. You're always willing to learn new things. And in terms of the experience, you can be transparent to the client, and you can reinforce, or you can show your experience that you're bringing from back home. Because in today's world, where we are all working, it's more like globalization, right? And we have a lot of people, they're hiring employees from other countries as well, right? So that's the area you can focus on. And initially you can start with any basic job, and then basic job, when I'm saying in IT specifically, and then you can keep your goal clear, because in the management in the companies do ask where you want to be, what's your goal, right? And then you can, within the company, you can grow. There is always an area, right, that you can grow within the company.
Yeah. One thing, like if you have seen, right, on the LinkedIn or other social media sites, right? A lot of people are talking about the resume. So they have to create a resume according to the job description. Even though, like the job seekers, they are taking help from ChatGPT, from other some tools, right? So just creating the like according to the job description. I know, like you have taken a lot of interviews in terms of like when you were like working as a QA, right? Now you are like application support manager, right? So what are the things you see in the resume, and anything like you want to add on, like what they need to put into the resume so it got selected and then ready for the interview, right? So what's your thought on that?
Yeah, so I believe in organic growth. So your resume should be organic when you are a newbie in the market. Because if you show a lot of experience and then you show up at work, and after a few days you don't show those skills, right? But there are soft skills, analytical skills that do, as I told you, nobody is focused unless you're joining as a senior. But when you're joining as a newbie, there are other skills that can be focused on. You should brush up on those skills. And if we go towards the resume, you can make sure that your experience as per the job description is highlighted, and where you're applying, it's matching as per the job description. And you have and you, on the side, you can always keep on upgrading yourself, looking into the recent courses. Even though you don't have hands-on experience, but you have taken those courses, they are always helpful. And again, I would like to highlight, it's very important when you're applying for any particular job. These days we have various tools based on which the resume gets selected. They have to ensure that those keywords are matching with what the client is looking for. For example, if I'm looking for somebody, I would definitely look for relevant experience, right? So you can have some back home experience. You don't have to be an expert, but a few years of experience, or if you have done any course, or probably if you have done some volunteer somewhere, that's also helpful as well.
That's a good advice. One thing is we want to talk about the networking, right? And what's your thought on the networking and getting a referral, and somebody is applying without the networking through just a different job site? So what's your take on that?
Well, I recently hired 2 technical support analysts in my team. I do got a lot of referrals within the company, and I this is my own personal belief, and I do got resumes as well from the job market, because there was job posting that was posted, right? But definitely I took into consideration those resumes that came through the referral. But my main focus was to ensure the team member I'm hiring that fits in the category I'm looking for. So for an example, if I hire somebody with referral, that person doesn't bring in the key experience, as well as that person is not a great team player. That person, definitely I'll interview the person and come to know, right? So that is going to be very much relevant. Networking is important because your resume gets shortlisted, but it's eventually the person who's going for an interview, the kind of skills that person holds when the interview session happens. So how convincing that person is, that's very, very important.
That's good. Just on a lighter note, I want to ask you, do you have any memory, like when you have experienced some weird and funny incident during the interview or during your career? Like, I know, like one of the incident, like I have faced, like in our company, right? So somebody did the proxy interview, and then later on he got caught. It was really funny, right? So like, do you have anything funny to, like, a moment like you want to discuss with us during your entire career? Something interesting?
Well, yeah, sorry. This is a very good question. This reminds me of my recent experience I basically had. As I mentioned to you, I opened a position within my area where I'm working. And so normally I did shortlist the employee based on my first round of phone interview. And I did kind of invited her for in person via a Teams kind of remote kind of interview, right? So that was like half an hour session. Then I have my VP on call, myself, and the technical teammate. There were three team members, and then it was her. We were trying to keep the session short because we didn't want to traumatize her, because we were three people on the panel, right? So we try to make her comfortable. But how it started is it's very important, the areas that you're highlighting in the interview. She started giving us essays. Like every question I was asking her, it became so bored that we lost interest. When this all started with her introduction, the introduction went so long, and then I asked, what are your strengths? And everything is coming like as an essay, right? So that kind of, we were all laughing. I mean, I didn't want to be rude, but honestly, I mean, we were all laughing in a way. We didn't show her. We were like smiling, right? But it was so hard to control because it doesn't look like an interview session. It looked more like a essay session, right? So every time we were going back and interviewing another candidate, we were ensuring we don't come up with that kind of individual again.
Yeah, that's a really funny story. Yeah. So my next question would be like, if you are a job seeker, then what are the strategies you will follow?
It's a very good question. Since I do have some experience right now, it would be different, but I'll talk about I'll highlight a few areas for newcomers, right? So if I'm a job seeker, I'll make sure my resume is up to date with the technology. I make myself aware what are the market trends, right? We have very, very advanced tools these days. So I was kind of shocked to see on the job posting myself that I posted. I was actually able to see if someone is applying for a technical support analyst role, how many other companies he or she has applied the role for, and if he got selected there, if he got shortlisted for the interview. So what I'm trying to tell here is that the tools here, these we have right now in the market, they're very smart tools, right? It's all with the introduction of AI, of course. So my advice would be to make sure your resume is up to date. You take some experts advice to make sure your resume it's professional. It looks professional. It doesn't need to be like an essay, 4 or 5 pages. It needs to have right sort of information. That's one thing. The key information needs to be there. And second thing is, it's important you follow the market trends. You go on the job description, follow along the market trends and see what's going on. Subscribe to LinkedIn. Make sure you have your LinkedIn account and see what's happening in the market, right? To focus more on that. And you should be open to work. Sign up for various job seeking websites, and there are tools these days that do help, right? So definitely take help from those tools. That would be really helpful.
Yeah. So for the audience, I just want to say is like Pam has taken a lot of mock interviews for the different IT professionals. I know, like you are really good in that, even for resume making as that, right? So I know, like these are the very important things when somebody like saying, okay, no, I have a resume, I can create it from a different AI tools and I can do just mock interview. But in actually, when you go for an interview, then you will see the real challenges, right? So if you're not have more practice, right, for those question answers, then how you need to be answer it diplomatically, so then it's maybe a more challenging, right? You're gonna face it. Yeah, but those are really good things like we have learned from you. Like definitely we're gonna continue with the next part, which we're gonna talk more about the different interview questions, hard skills and soft skill sides. For today, like we would just want to thank you for joining this podcast. See you next time. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you so much, Minjinder, for having me. Bye bye. Thank you.